Somebody was asking about the books, weren't they?
Yeah.
Right, well, there are your 3 books. That's your main parts manual. So everything's listed in there, every single part on the bike. That's more your technical manual of how to rebuild everything. Any of your parts suppliers will do them. And this one's called the technical manual, but it's more of a sort of rider's handbook, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
General maintenance. But basically those 3 books should get you out of any trouble. So you've got your lubrication chart in here somewhere. Front brake camshaft, brake cover bearing, fork rocker plate, front brake shackle. So, and the arrows point to where the actual grease nipples are.
Yeah.
So I generally just tend to do the grease points. I mean, like if you've got no binding on that, they say put engine oil in here, in the pivot point on the brake.
Yeah.
You can do if you want to, but it will just go everywhere. So I generally tend just to stick to the grease nipples as such.
So is there a grade of grease that you use, or?
Just general purpose grease it's called. Just multi-purpose grease. You don't need anything like graphite or waterproof or anything like that. Right, so you've got your front hub here. It's quite a lot easier with a flexi hosing because you get these in solid or flexi. It's easier with a flexi. Okay, I mean, these should be packed when they're built, so you don't need much in there. Just put a couple of pumps in, just to make sure you've got grease in there. That's it. Okay, you won't see anything coming out of that because it's all held inside on seals and stuff. Always try and wipe them down afterwards. Just all they do is collect rubbish otherwise.
How would you know if you've got not enough or too much?
You can't really tell on the inside of these, but just because you should pack them when you build it. So a good few pumps in there. These ones, like this is a shackle spring. You've got one there and one there for those, because obviously your forks do that.
Yeah.
And there are your shackles there. They've been painted. Let's get a little screwdriver and try and scratch the paint off the top. So you have a ball bearing in the middle. It should push in and out. Okay, let's see if that'll take any grease. Sometimes you have to take the nipples out. And what you should see is it's squeezing out the sides here and here. If it's taking grease. There you go, see it come out the bottom there, look. Okay, what's that? It?
Oh yeah.
So that's got enough in it. It don't take a lot, it's just enough to make sure you've got grease in there, you know. Right, there's one on the back here. Right, there's plenty coming out of that at the back.
Yeah.
Always wipe them down afterwards. Just get your excess grease out of the way. Okay, so that's that side lower end. You've got one here, which does your spring slider. They're quite an important one. See it coming out of there?
Mm-hmm.
So that's done. You don't need any more than that. You've got your spring shackle, one there, one there. Sorry, spring shackle, your brake shackle pin, arm. Okay, so that's enough in there. Just to get that little bit squeezing out of it, that's all you want.
Yep.
Plenty out and that, that's fine. Okay, right, you've got your 2 spring shackles again. This one on this side's got a 90-degree on it. You've got one there. That's why I said it's a lot easier with a flexible hose on it, yeah?
Yeah.
Right, there's one here which does your slider on the brakes. That's like a brake tensioner as such. You've got to get, that doesn't really take hardly anything, you just want a little bit in there. That's enough. That one on the back, on the rear rocker arm again. That's enough. Okay. So that's basically, we've got to do the other side of the forks. That's basically a lot on the front end, if I remember rightly. We'll double check in the book. That's enough. That's squeezing out the bottom. That, I don't think they have a headstock one, do they? The headstock bearing says every 50,000 miles strip the forks out and repack them with grease, which obviously we're not going to do. No, you've got nothing on the clutch side. The rear foot brake has one. Make sure your pedal's nicely greased up. There you go, it's coming out, so that's all that needs. Hold that down there. Oh, it's got plenty in it. And you've got one on the end of your clutch push rod there to grease the rotary bearing. Just takes a couple of pumps, that one, do 3 to be sure. So you've got seat post and rear wheel bearing. In between there, in down on that. Give that a good few pumps. Right, there's one. See that one there? That's your rear brake cam. So you just want to hardly take anything, that one. Don't go mad with them because it can go inside the brakes. Okay, the last one is your seat post. So on your seat T, you have to undo your pin or your bolt, whatever's holding it together, lift it up, you've got that one there. There you go, just squeezing out the side, that's all it needs. Don't want to go mental with them. So that's that one, and your seat post one is there, look.
Yeah.
That's that. That's enough. So that's basically your main grease points. If you want to go over and drop some oil on, you know, your pivot points and that, but I tend not to because it goes everywhere.
Yeah. What are the dangers of over greasing or over oiling?
Nothing major. In the gearbox, you don't want to over oil that.
Yeah.
Engine oil, as long as it isn't pissing out the tank when you go around corners, it doesn't make any difference how much is in there. Yeah, the only real one is the gearbox. You don't want to overfill that because, like I said before, it aerates the oil.
Yeah.
So you've got a dipstick there. Pull it out. That needs a little bit more in it. You want it. So if it goes down below that, you're in trouble. But you're up there. I normally tend to fill them up so they're just on the top of the L. Because when it's running, it'll come up some more.
Yeah.
You can just that's halfway good. Down that neck, you can see the oil. See it there? What else is there? Gearbox oil you want. So as long as you can just see the oil halfway down that filler neck on the side stand, that's fine. Right, let's double check our list. I don't think there's anything else. There should be. Right, it's probably a RiE-Pro front brake cover then. There should be one in here. Just to grease the front brake can.
Okay.
Bearing cover, bearing, yeah, we've done that. Rocker plates, front brake shackle, we've done that. Fork spring rods, we've done that. Brake levers, just engine oil. Generators and all the armatures, that's fine, the bearings. Saddle arm, done that. Saddle post, done that. Wheel bearings, done that. Clutch release bearing, done that. Rear brake shaft cam, we've done that. Brake crossover shaft, we've done that. And brake pedal, we've done that. Engine oil's been checked, gearbox oil's been checked. That's as far as I go. As long as these are moving, you've got grease in them when they're assembled, they don't need any more, you know.
And how often would you check those grease points?
Well, I'd do them at the beginning of a season. It says interval there, look. Quarter, 250 miles. But I mean, not many people do many miles. And if you do 500 miles a year, I'll be bloody amazed, you know what I mean?
Unless you're down to Normandy or something.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But that's quarter. All the front end is a quarter, apart from the wheel bearings, that's every 500 miles. So 250 miles on all the front end, 250 miles on the forks, 250 miles on your saddle and your seat post, 500 miles on the rear wheel bearings, 250 on your brake pin. If you, like I say, if you get one of these books, it's got it all written down. But I mean, to me, this is for daily use. Don't forget, these are smashing these things around through fields and God knows what every day.
Yeah.
If you're riding one once a week, you don't have to do it that often.
Yeah.
It's literally just to try and alleviate the wear and tear. That's why they say to grease them so much. Like they say, all of these books were written for squaddies. They call them squaddie proof.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as you abide by the rules that are in that, it will never go wrong, because it's so overkill. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's the point of it. That's why they wrote the books. Yeah, it's literally massive overkill. If you go to the quartermaster and say my front fork's busted, and they say we haven't greased it for a year and a half, that's your fault.
Yeah.
You know, that's the way it works.